I'm here and I apologize in advance. I'm hack. I just can't. I've been sick for like over a week and I thought I was there today, but talking for an hour straight has proven uh, the hack is still alive and well. So I'm gonna
Dude,
try to mute. I'm gonna try to mute the mic when I need to hack, but I apologize in
no
advance.
worries. I
Very
had
hacky.
that in May, dude. I coughed for an entire month. I thought I
I
was
did. I
gonna die.
I had it on our tour in Australia, and we had to cancel sold out show at an arena in Sydney, and it was a real nightmare. And now I have it again. So
That's yeah. That's the hack is the worst. Well, thank you, Ryan, for joining.
thank
Appreciate
you so
you.
much for having me.
No problem. And I'll try to make it where you're not hacking to the
No, I'll be
best of
fine.
my
I'll be fine.
ability.
Dude, don't worry about me. Do your thing. I'm
All
happy.
right,
I'm stoked to be here. Let's do it.
let's do it. All right, Yellowcard, new album, October. Is
October
it
10th.
called Better Days? What's the title?
Better Days, October
Better Days.
10th.
Okay, so like the single. Okay, great.
Yes.
It's a great song. I know you hooked up with Travis Barker. How did that come about?
Yeah, it's very wild, very organic and just unexpected, along with all the other things that are happening for our band, kind of these jaw-dropping experiences that keep coming our way. But when we went in to make this record, there was a lot of talk about how this can't just be another collection of songs that kind of washes out to sea, like this has to matter and this has to get Yellowcard fans just fully reinvested and re-energized and excited about not just the fact that Yellowcard's back and touring, but the fact that we're making music again, And I have been pretty disconnected from our genre, from rock music in general, just as a personal like listener and the music I create, outside of the band. I'm trying to get into film and television scoring, so I listen to a lot of instrumental music and electronic music and stuff. And so when we decided to make the record, before we had Travis, before we had a record deal, before we had any real plans, I just kind of said to the guys, like, would we be open for the first time in our career to maybe working with other writers, outside of the band? We've never done it before. I think the stigma around that has faded a bit than compared to when we were younger, and we also have a couple of friends who are band dudes first. They're not. We weren't looking for like the coolest pop top line writer in LA. We wanted to work with some friends who have found a lot of success in songwriting that used to be in bands and we've played with and toured with, and we have some friends that do that. So we planned on working with a buddy of ours named Nick Long, who he wrote like 5 or 6 songs with Blink on One More Time. He's worked with Travis on several other projects, and when we had that on the books, he called us and just said, I was talking to Travis, told him I was going to be working with you guys, and he said, "Come down, bring him to the studio. I'd love to be a part of that session." So we just kind of, we're taken aback. Like, what do you mean? What Travis Barker wants to work with Yellowcard? Well, okay, let's do this. And so we did. The first song we demoed with Nick and Travis is on the record. It's called "Barely Alive," and we that was back in April of last year. So we've been working on this for a long, long time. And man, it was just such an amazing experience. It was everything we needed it to be in terms of just getting back to the roots of Yellowcard and the sound, the core kind of sound and energy that gets people excited about Yellowcard. Travis was really able to help us find that again for the first time in a long time. And I think the proof is in the music, and the fact that I woke up this morning and we have a song that's number 5 on the radio. I don't even know how to handle that in my brain. It's just so surreal. We haven't had a song on the radio in 20 years. Like when does that happen for a band? When do you kind of reach this mountaintop moment in your career, become a pseudo household name, and then kind of fade away for 20 years and then come back with a song that goes top 5? It's just I don't we are blown away.
It's amazing. What was like a defining moment when you were working with Travis? Something that he may have said to you guys that you went like epiphany or like, light
Yeah.
bulb, like holy shit, yes, that.
Yes, I had one. I went into the record pretty timid, pretty unsure of myself. I've dealt with in my career a lot throughout my career. I've struggled with kind of that imposter syndrome thing a lot, and So one part of this time around that's been really good for me is I'm kind of trying to be kind to myself and remind myself that without being arrogant about it, that like I belong here. I'm supposed to be doing this. This is supposed to be happening for us, you know? And so at the beginning of the recording process, I was pretty unsure of what I was doing there and like writing this kind of music again. And I remember being in the booth recording, re-recording a vocal. Like I had already done the whole song, and it was like we got it. Let's just do it again, like to get a different vibe. And I remember being kind of frustrated and immediately thinking, you're this is the maybe going to be the biggest opportunity of your career to date to be in here in this studio making this record, and you fully just showed like you showed a not good side of yourself. You got frustrated in front of everybody, and I felt really bad about it. But Travis came into the booth, put his hand on my shoulder, and said, "Dude, I can't remember the artist. I wish I did for the story, but some artist he'd work with recently, and he just said we did, 54 versions or whatever the number was of the song that ended up on the album, and I'm gonna sit here with you, and I'm gonna be right here with you all the way until we get it right. Like I'm not going anywhere. Take your time, relax. Like you got this." And simple but very eye-opening moment, to have him come in as a producer and say, I'm in this, I'm really in this. Because in the early days of doing it, it was so surreal and happening so fast for us, thinking Travis is the drummer of Blink first. What's he going to be like as a producer? You don't really know what to expect. And we've been working with the same producer for almost 20 years since Ocean Avenue. Neil Avron, our longtime producer, he knows us as people. He knows how to navigate our relationships in the studio. And band dudes can be really annoying and really treat each other poorly in the studio if somebody wants something to go a certain way. So you walk in on day one with a new producer and just be like, "Hey, nice to meet you. Let's go start making music together." You don't know what to expect. And so getting that kind of vote of confidence from him, and also seeing his level of dedication to the project and to the band, right from the get-go, was really inspiring, and I think was a real light bulb moment, as you said, for me.
Yeah, because when I heard Better Days, I heard growth. I
Mm,
heard something. I
cool.
was like, oh, this is a pop punk record, but there's something extra on it. There's an extra layer of something. Do you know what that layer is? What am I hearing?
Excitement, I think. I think that a little bit of the sparkle in our eye, or whatever you want to call it, had faded almost completely away by the end of 2015, 16, when we decided to step away from Yellowcard. And at that time it was forever. We were never going to do this again. We really, um, some of us didn't speak to each other for half a decade. I mean, it was a long time in the dark away from Yellowcard, and we never thought we would return. And so we had this tour in 2023, celebrating 20 years of Ocean Avenue. And one of the reasons we stepped away from the band is because we were just struggling to, sell out shows and make it worth being away from our families for 8 or 9 months a year and all those things. And um, then fast forward to 2023, after we'd made the decision to start playing some shows again, and we're doing the biggest tour we've ever done in our career. We're playing amphitheaters and arenas. I mean, it was totally surreal. So we're coming off the back of that, just charged up. I mean, we are just thinking, what's next? How do we continue to carry this energy forward, because this is good now. This is fun. This is exciting. It feels like we're all on heading in the same direction as a band. All four of us are just, we want the same things, for ourselves, for each other, for our families. And it just, I don't know, there's just like this passion in it that has been gone, or had been gone for some time. And I think Travis could smell that, and smell blood in the water, sort of, in a way. Because I can't think of another reason why, you come in and want to be work with for a group of 45-year-old dudes who haven't had a song on the radio in 20 years. It was really uh, inspiring for us, the fact that he wanted to work with our band, and it permeated every piece of music on the record.
It also sounds like during that time there was a lot of growing up. I think
Hmm.
you can't help it when you get in your 40s, you start to grow
Hmm.
up. And that's what I hear too. I hear men, right,
Yeah.
grown up men making music and putting that together from all that they've learned and the lessons. Is that true? I mean, just as a band coming together, going, "Hey, this is what you just said. We we know what we want, and we want it for everybody, our families,
Mhm.
each other."
Yes, it feels more collective now than ever before, and um, I really can only speak for myself, but I will say that I think the time away from the band when in my head I was convinced I was never going to be a part of Yellowcard again was in a lot of ways the best time, best time of personal growth, at least for me to date in my life, because it was just me. I was done. I was alone, and and the pandemic came 2020. I was really alone, um, and I had a lot of time to kind of break down why things went the way they went, and what was my role in it. What Don't blame anybody else, because I can do that all day, but what how did my reactivity play a role in where we ended up? Um, And so, personally, I spent so much time just working on that, just trying to figure out how to not let myself be so reactive and let negative energy affect me in a way that affects other people, um, the way that I have in the past. And so now, even if it's just my part in the band, I try to remove that reactivity from situations. And I think that helps me be more kind to everyone else in the band in turn. And then I get more kindness back as well. And it just, man, it doesn't sound very rock and roll, out
It
loud,
is
but
though. It
but
is.
it feels so good. It just
Yeah.
feels so good to be back in the band, and the direction we're heading and the success we're having. I think it's all direct results of this mentality.
Yeah, growing up, definitely. I'm gonna do some fun, quick uh, questions. What's the worst food you've ever been served on the road?
Ooh, ever been served on the road?
Yeah.
That It's tough to think of like what I've been served, but one thing that just pops into my head of something like I tried under duress, like you have to eat it, was raw horse in Japan. And when I'm in Japan, I eat. Like I'll
Mhm.
bite the head off of a fish or whatever I'm there for the food. But raw horse was not the one.
Yeah, that sounds
I can't think
disgusting.
of a good like catering served this terrible meal story right now, but
So the fact that you've survived eating raw horse, I might want
yes.
to say that you're the answer to this question, but let's find out.
Okay.
Who in the band would survive a zombie apocalypse?
Probably Sean. Probably Sean, because
Why?
Sean lives on, like huge plot of land in Texas, and he's ready. He's got ATVs, and we're gonna go there if something bad happens.
You know, The Walking Dead happens.
Yeah,
It's
yes. Like
Texas.
I live in like this pretty neighborhood in Maitland, Florida, in a mid-century modern, ranch style house, like with a pool out back. He's where we're going if 28 days later happens.
What is the weirdest DM you've ever received from a fan?
From a fan?
Mhm.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't, you have to go into like your requests and like read through people you don't follow. And I try to stay away from that stuff
Fair,
because it's
fair
just, you know what
enough.
I mean? I'm
No,
sure
I
if I
absolutely do.
pondered long enough or like went through the history, I could find one. But no, people don't really get that weird. It's like, can we meet you at the show, or can I get an autograph for this or that? It's
Mhm.
nothing really crazy.
Okay, so yellow card fans have their head on straight.
They seem
Fair
to be
enough.
pretty level-headed folks.
Pretty good. Fact or fiction? The band, the name came from soccer, but the first person who brought it up didn't even watch the game. Fact or fiction?
A little bit of both. The name did come from the term yellow card in football, soccer, but it was really kind of like a high school term for a party foul. And I was not in the band at the time. I was friends with adjacent to the band, but I wasn't in the band. But the way I understand the lore was that it was basically like 48 hours to the first show, and flyers had to get made at Kinko's, and a name just had to go on it. And, at that moment, either someone spilled a beer on Sean's mom's carpet or whatever happened, and someone gave him a yellow card, and someone said, "That's it. We're going to be yellow card." Um, and now that's that. So I don't know the exact science of the story, but that's basically how it went down.
Fact or fiction? The violin was added to your sound because a guitar broke right before a show.
Fiction. The violin was added because the original the original inception of Yellowcard in high school in 1996 7 had I'm going to air quotes a ballad on there, pretty heavy skate punk. I mean, the original first high school Yellowcard sounded like, if you're familiar with, like, it sounded like Good Riddance, like early Lagwagon,
Mm-hmm.
early Strung Out when they were even more kind of like metal and thrashy than they came to be later in the 90s. And they had this kind of slower tempo song. And we went to an art school. So, I was a theater major. They were music majors. There's a dance department, visual arts department. Um, and so it was a real melting pot for young people to be creative. And um, Sean was just kind of rolling with the band guys, and coming to shows and stuff. He was into the same music everybody was in, all of us were into. And so it was kind of a just fun moment of what if we put some violin on this song.
Fact or fiction? Ocean Avenue was almost off the album because people didn't think it was strong enough.
Uh, Fact, but it was because I could not write a chorus for it. We had this musical demo that had the verses done because I had written the verse, melody, lyric, and everything with the guitar. And it was a unique song for us at the time. I mean, obviously it's really early in our career and as songwriters, but um, I remember the talking about the concept of doing a kind of like U2 with or without you style song where it's the same chord progression basically. That song is the same chord progression the entire song, but Ocean Avenue almost is. And so we decided to just have the chorus be the same exact chords as the verse. And I just struggled so hard to find a melody that carried after the verse into that chorus. And it was, yeah, like 4 or 5 days before, we had to be done. This had to be the last note recorded. And I finally walked in with a melody that Neil Avron, our longtime producer, was like, "That's it. Get in there and record that." And it changed our lives, but it almost didn't happen.
Well, Ryan, I really appreciate your time. The new album, Better Days, aptly
Yeah.
titled, Yellow
Yes.
Card, October 10th. Yes, coming out October
Yep.
10th.
October 10th. And we have a song, another song you can hear from the album called Bedroom Posters will be available streaming on the 15th of this month, August 15th.
Awesome. Ryan, thank you so much for taking time. You sound great. You didn't hack. Look at
Thank
you.
you.
You made it
Thank
through.
you. I'm hydrated. I'm more hydrated than when I started. That's why.
There you go. Thank you so much and look forward to seeing you.
All right. Cheers. Thank you guys for having me. And thanks for all the support, playing the song and everything. We're so grateful.
No problem, baby. It's a good tune. It's a really good tune.
Thank you.
So we're happy to
Brad.
do it. Have a good one,
Love
man.
it. All right. You too. Cheers.
I love.